come on in, take your shoes off, have a seat, and consider staying a while by clicking that subscribe button. If you are fairly new to prepping like myself, I've only been at it for about a year, I think it's really easy to fall into once you see your stockpile is built up and you have a good food source and a good water source and a way to filter water and you have a good medical stock that you can relax and your job is done and everything's gonna be okay. And what I'm learning is that is just simply not the case. There is always something to be prepped. There's always something that we forgot. There's always something that can be improved in our stockpile, and we can always think of a different situation that we might need another item for. And that is why it's so easy to go crazy when you are prepping, because there's so much to do and you just don't really know where to start. But this video is for those of you who have a fairly good stockpile stored up. I wouldn't suggest, if you're first starting out, to focus on trade and barter items. I would really focus on your food and water supply. But I do think it is important to have a few of these items on hand in case of an emergency. And when I say emergency, it doesn't have to be an SHTF situation. It could be something as simple as an ice storm. We had an ice storm a few weeks ago that knocked out our power for about 2 days, and it iced us in, like we were not able to leave our house. And we weren't panicking because we had a prep pile that we were able to feed ourselves and able to keep ourselves warm. And that is why it's so important to prepare, not only for a world or economic collapse, but just for everyday emergencies that could happen so that you are able to take care of your family. That being said, if you're not prepped up or if you forgot something, because like I said, there's always something to be forgotten, there's always something that can be improved in a stockpile, you might need to borrow it even from one of your neighbors or a friend or something. And honestly, for me, I would never want to go over to my friend's house and not have anything to give back or not be able to pay them back for the item. And so that's why I choose to keep up and stock up on trade items that I know would be valuable in either an emergency situation or an SHTF situation. So you have to be really careful with trading and bartering, especially if it was in an end of the world type of situation, because it will make you a target. You don't want to just be freely bartering and trading items, because if you are, someone's going to take note that you always have something to trade, and they're going to be like, hey, you know, this chick or this guy always has something. I'm gonna follow them home because I know they have a good stockpile. So keeping that in mind, you only want to trade or barter at a last resort. Always try to live off your stockpile, your land, go hunting, try to see what you can do in your friend group. Never use it as a first resort. I'm talking like if someone needed a doctor because their leg was falling off, or someone was dying because they needed some type of antibiotic, something that was life-threatening to you or someone you love. That is the only reason why I would risk my life to go wherever people are in an SHTF situation and show them that I have items that are valuable. I think this is already kind of said, but I just want to emphasize this. Never trade at your bug out location or your house. You always want to be away from your house. You always want to go either into a town or like a market area that's been set up to trade. That way you're not leading people back to your house and back to your family. All right, so these are the top 10 items that I keep in my stockpile at all times in case I needed to barter or trade in an emergency. Number 1, ways to make fire. We all know in an emergency situation, fire can mean the difference between life and death. For those who didn't prepare well, an item to cook food or stay warm will be seen as very valuable. Stock up on mini lighters as they are lightweight, easy to carry, and cheap. Also stock up on waterproof matches. These last a long time, and you can even trade one match for something small. Number 2, seed packets. These are very lightweight. It's probably the most lightweight item you can possibly carry. They can fold up and they take up virtually no space. By trading this item, you give a family the ability to grow their own food, which will be very valuable in a situation where stores aren't open. Not only do seeds have a long shelf life, but most packets are $1 and under, so they are very cheap to buy and stockpile. This doubles as not only being a trade item, but it will also ensure that you always have packets of seeds in your house in order to grow your own food. Number 3, ways to flavor your water. Even though you filtered your water out and made it safe to drink, it doesn't mean that it's going to taste well. It probably is going to taste like the river or the lake that you just took it out of. And if you have small children or are just a picky drinker, you're going to want ways to flavor your water and make it taste better. I'm pretty sure most of us have been down the drink aisle in any store and we see all of these canisters of water flavorings, and they make everything from Gatorade to Kool-Aid to lemonade to tea. They even make soda flavors now, which I haven't really tried, but we tend to keep the Gatorade canisters in our stockpile. Why do we do this? Well, on a normal basis, I wouldn't consider Gatorade a healthy drink. I don't think I exert enough exercise. I don't sweat enough to be able to drink this on a regular basis. But in an SHTF or even an emergency situation, you're going to be exerting a lot of energy. It's going to be a lot of physical labor in order to keep your house afloat and to keep food on the table. So we tend to keep a canister or a few canisters in our stockpile of this so that we can replenish our electrolytes and keep ourselves hydrated. But it's also really good for trade value because obviously everyone else is going to be exerting a lot of energy as well. So what I would do in a trade situation for this is simply trade a scoop. So I'd say, hey, I'll give you a scoop of this for a set of matches, or a scoop of this for some toilet paper, something simple like that. I don't think it's a trade that you would get a lot out of, but people are going to get desperate, like I said, if they have drank nasty tasting water for weeks and they want something different. So I would simply just scoop this into their water bottle, or I would put it in an individual baggie in front of them and give them a scoop that way. And that way I can keep the entire container. I wouldn't trade all this unless it would be for like bullets or medicine or maybe a medical procedure, something like that. I would obviously give them the entire container, but otherwise I'm going to keep it for my own personal stockpile and for my family's use. To make this type of item even more tradable or even more, I guess, barter friendly, they make these small packets again in every flavor that you could possibly want, and this would make it super easy to just throw a few of these in your bag and hike into either the market we were talking about or into the town to be able to trade. We tend to keep this Tang one because it has a vitamin C, so if we had to use this as a family, it would double as a vitamin if we got a cold or something like that. But also it makes it more valuable for trade because it not only flavors water, but again can be used if someone got sick. Number 4, chapstick. This is definitely one of those underrated items I think a lot of people forget, but everybody knows if you get chapped lips, whether it be from a sunburn or in the winter, you are miserable. So I feel like people are really going to want this if they forgot to put it in their stockpile. You can buy all kinds of either medicated, non-medicated. They even have ones that are for UV protection. Obviously, if I was trading these, I would give away the ones that I have that aren't medicated first. You can even use these, I've heard, if you had like a gun that jammed for lubricant, if you ran out of lubricant, you could put it on cracked heels if you're like walking around a lot and your heels crack or your hands crack. It can be used on other parts of the body. So I really think this is a really sought after item that's lightweight. It's individual, so it's going to be easy to trade, and it's also good to keep in your stockpile for yourself. So I think that is a double win. Number 5, mini bottles of hygiene items. Before COVID hit, I traveled a lot, and I would always tend to bring my own hygiene items, and since I paid for it, I would always collect the mini items that they set out for you at a hotel. They have everything from soap, conditioner, shampoo, toothbrushes, toothpaste, mouthwash, alcohol wipes, lotion, all kinds of stuff that you would need to be comfortable. And I collected this, and it's actually sitting on the dresser in our guest bedroom. I've had friends come over that have forgotten stuff, and they have loved that I have this sitting here for them so that they don't have to either run to the store or go without it. And so this has become an everyday used item in our household. But now that I've started prepping, I really see the value in these for a trade situation. People in a SHTF situation more than ever will want to keep clean. They want to keep from infections and diseases, and honestly, they just want to feel comfortable since a lot of their comforts that they're used to are gone. So I really think that these items will be highly tradable and highly valuable valuable in that type of situation. They obviously also double in the case that we would have to bug out. We could throw a bunch of these in a bug out bag and be able to clean ourselves. If you haven't traveled a lot or you didn't keep your bottles or you use them, these can be found on Amazon. You can find them at any grocery store. A lot of them will carry like a travel size, or they even have bottles that you can buy that aren't labeled so you can make your own and it will save you some money. Number 6, over-the-counter medications. I know most of us keep these in our bathroom cabinet for everyday use, but I would pick up a few extra bottles for trade items. In an SHTF situation, people are going to find that they aren't as healthy as what they thought they were. Their grandma's going to get sick, their child's going to get sick, and they're going to be desperate when the doctor's doors close and the store shelves become empty. Having these items on hand could be very, very valuable. You not only could help someone else out, but you could get an item that you truly need. I would trade this per pill. I would not give away a whole bottle because they will become so valuable. And it's something I would want to keep around for my family. Number 7, mini bottles of liquor. Mini bottles of liquor can actually be very expensive. They can be upwards of $4 for one tiny bottle. So I actually ordered my own glass bottles off of Amazon and my own labels, and I filled them myself for a fraction of the cost. If there's a situation where the stores are closing, people are still going to want the comfort of their own life. And this is one of those items that they can use to celebrate with. People are still going to want to have parties and stuff like that and just go about life as normal as possible. There might be a night where everyone's sitting around a campfire and they just want to relax. And so I really think this is going to be one of those sought after items just to make someone feel good, or it can obviously be kept for yourself if you have a bad night and you want to relax. I honestly wouldn't put myself in that situation because you always want to be on high alert in this type of environment. But it also can double as other things. So vodka can be used as a wound disinfectant. So if you don't have any type of like wound cleaner, Neosporin, anything like this, this will keep your wound clear of any infection. It also can be used, any of this can be used as a numbing agent. So say you have like a sprained ankle or something to that effect. You could use this to numb your pain. I would not use it if you had something major like your leg falling off because alcohol is a blood thinner. Number 8 is vitamins. This is another item that we should keep in our household and should be taking daily to keep our immune systems up. But it's also a great trade item. Again, this is something that I would trade per pill. But I think it's going to be very valuable because people are going to want to try and stay as healthy as they can, and they're not going to have as much access to medical care, and vitamins are a great way to keep germs and viruses at bay. Number 9, instant coffee. This is another one of those underrated items. I mean, if you really think about it, a lot of people are avid coffee drinkers. A lot of people have multiple cups of coffee a day. Caffeine addiction is real. And I think if you came across someone who hadn't had coffee in months, who used to drink it every day, who's tired, who's cold, I think that they would pay an arm and a leg to have just a warm cup of caffeine. It's going to warm their insides up. Coffee instantly makes you feel better, instantly makes you have energy, and I think people will be willing to trade a lot for this. Number 10, mini hand and face wipes. These are basically wet wipes. They just have put them in smaller packaging. And what I love about these for bartering or trading is that there is 12 little sheets in each of these packets. I could open this up, break them apart, and just trade an individual packet. If you think about it, in an SHTF situation, people are not going to be able to shower very often, if at all. And people are going to be working outside. I mean, they're going to have to work for their food or just work to keep their house afloat. And they're going to be dirty and grimy and gross. And at the end of the day, they're going to want something to feel human, to get clean, to go to bed and just feel not gross. And so this would be that perfect item to not only feel clean at the end of the day, but also to help fight infection and help make sure that your cuts are staying clean. Make sure you guys leave a comment in the section down below, letting me know what you think of these trade items. Are these things that you guys keep on hand? Did I miss anything? I think I will be making a few of these videos because there is pretty much endless possibilities on what you can trade and barter, and there's a endless possibility of what someone would think is a valuable item in an emergency or in an SHTF situation. And so I think this might be a mini series on my channel. Let me know if you like this and want me to continue it. Make sure you guys give this video a big thumbs up. It's free. It only takes a second and it really helps my channel out. And I will see you guys all in the next one. Bye!